one of the most famously bizarre and honestly unsettling stories you'll ever read. Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis. And it all kicks off with a question that's designed to get right under your skin. No, really, take a second and think about this. You wake up, maybe the alarm is going off, but something is just deeply, terribly wrong. You look down, and you are not you anymore. What's the very first thing that pops into your head? Well, for our main guy, Gregor Samsa, this isn't some weird what-if game. This is his new reality. And just like that, with that one single, jaw-dropping sentence, Kafka just launches us headfirst into this world that's, well, it's bizarre, it's terrifying, and in a weird way, it feels kind of familiar. Now, you'd think the most horrifying part of this story is, becoming a giant bug, but what really makes this thing so mind-bendingly absurd isn't the transformation itself. It's how Gregor reacts to it. I'm not kidding. The guy's got a hard shell, a big old brown belly, a bunch of little legs wiggling all over the place, and his main worry, his job. He's a traveling salesman, and his first thought is, oh no, I'm gonna be late. He's literally panicking about what his boss is going to say. And this right here, this is the perfect definition of a really important idea, absurdity. A situation that has zero logic, zero meaning. It feels like a bad dream you can't wake up from. And that is the core of what people mean when they say something is Kafkaesque. It's like being caught in this bizarre, pointless, bureaucratic nightmare with no escape hatch. All right, so why the obsession with work? I mean, shouldn't he be freaking out a little more? Well, for Gregor, his job wasn't just a 9-to-5. It was everything. It was his whole identity. It was how he proved his worth to his family. See, even before he woke up as a bug, Gregor's life was, well, it was a grind. He was the sole breadwinner, paying all the bills for his parents and his sister. And get this, he hated his job. The endless travel, the bad food, all of it. But he was stuck. Totally trapped, paying off some old debt his parents had racked up. So his family's respect for him, it was pretty much tied directly to his paycheck. And if you want proof of that, just a few hours after he transforms, who shows up at his door? The chief clerk from his office. And is he there to ask, hey Gregor, you okay? Nope. He's there to chew him out for being late. This guy is the perfect stand-in for that cold, heartless system that doesn't see people, it just sees workers. Cogs in a giant, uncaring machine. Okay, so things are bad. But believe it or not, the story is about to get even darker. Because here's the really chilling part. As Gregor starts to lose his human side, his own family starts to lose their humanity too. And his sister, Great, is the perfect example. At first, she's the only one with a shred of kindness left. She's the one who brings him food. Gross, rotten stuff that he actually likes now. And she cleans his room. But that compassion doesn't last. The burden just gets to be too much. And in the end, she's the one who says it out loud. That's not my brother anymore. It's just an it, and we have to get rid of it. So what's driving this horrible change? Well, at its core, it's just raw, primal fear. Yeah, they're scared of what he looks like, for sure, but it's more than that. They're terrified of what he represents. He's a massive disruption, a financial black hole, and just a huge source of shame. And we've all seen this happen, right? That kind of deep, gnawing fear, it doesn't just disappear. It has to go somewhere. So it twists, it hardens, and it turns into something else. Pure, destructive anger. And all that anger boils over in one of the most shocking and honestly brutal scenes in the whole story. In a moment of total chaos, Gregor's own father, just filled with rage and disgust, starts grabbing apples from a fruit bowl and just chucking them at him. And one of those apples hits its mark. It gets lodged deep into Gregor's back, in his shell. This isn't just a random act of violence. This is the fatal blow. And it's delivered by his dad. The wound gets infected, and you realize, this is what's going to kill him. Slowly and painfully. And with that apple, it's over. That was his last fragile link to his family, to his own humanity. It's completely severed. This is where he really begins his final downward spiral. So he's totally locked away, completely alone in his room. And Gregor, well, he starts to lose himself. His human thoughts just kind of drift away. But there's this weird twist. He actually finds a strange kind of comfort, even freedom, in his new bug body. He starts crawling on the walls, hanging from the ceiling, and honestly, it's the only little bit of pleasure he has left in his life. I mean, just think about it.
Everything that made him Gregor has been systematically stripped away. His job, gone. His family's love, gone. His human body, gone. What's left? Nothing. He's stuck in this awful nihilistic loop where his life has absolutely no meaning, no value, no purpose at all.
Total emptiness just leads to this feeling of complete paralysis. It's like he's nailed to the floor, both physically and, existentially. He's just trapped, completely unable to make sense of anything anymore. And all of this brings us to the final and truly haunting conclusion of the story. But Gregor's death, it isn't tragic in the way you'd think. It's something else entirely. So between the infected wound and basically starving to death, Gregor just gives up. He dies all alone in his room. The next morning, the family finds his body, just this flat, dried-up husk. And do they cry? Do they mourn him? No. Their reaction is relief. A huge sigh of relief. The burden is gone. So what do? They decide to take the day off, go on a little trip, and start planning for their bright, shiny new future now that he's out of the picture. So, what's the big takeaway here? What's Kafka's chilling warning to all of us? It's a really brutal look at just how fragile our compassion is, how easily it can break. When we're faced with something that scares us or something that's just inconvenient, we have this terrifying ability to turn a who into an it, to literally strip the humanity away from someone, even the people we are supposed to love more than anything. And that leaves us with one last, pretty uncomfortable question to ask ourselves. If our value is all tied up in our job, or our health, or just our ability to fit in, what happens when one of those things disappears? How fast could any of us go from being a person to being the burden, the inconvenience, the insect in the room that everyone secretly wishes would just go away?